Hey, this is Steve Domenico, and joining me in the Room podcast today is Shayna Hollywood Foppiano, making another appearance for CES Boxing Saturday, November 23rd, making her third trip to that pro ring. Shayna, thanks for coming on and giving us some time and talking about this next opportunity. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, Steve.
It's been a year, over a year, I think, since you went into that CES ring. Great fight. You fought a very tough MMA veteran, Muay Thai veteran. Also, she was making her pro boxing debut. Sarah Click came away with a draw in that fight. Shayna coming out of that fight and having that fight. How'd you feel about it, and would you take out of that match heading into this one?
I feel like that was definitely a learning experience for me. She was a very tough opponent, and I watched that tape back many times, worked on things throughout this entire camp, tidied things up a lot in my game. It showed me a lot of what I need to work on, and things I needed to improve on, and it just helped me throughout this camp to make sure that this fight goes a lot differently.
Excellent. Well, your debut boxing match was a year before that fight, where you came away with a first round TKO. So you didn't get much action in the ring. You finished that fight pretty quick. So I figure the
Right.
second time in there was, so many leaps and bounds from that first fight, getting that learning experience and going to a decision in that fight.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I felt like it was great that I went the distance in my second fight because it was good to get the rounds in. Not having an amateur career and going straight to pro, obviously I didn't have a lot of experience in there. So in the second fight, getting those 4 rounds of experience were crucial to me. Now I know exactly what to expect throughout like going forward, and I feel really confident with it.
Now you fought your debut was at the House of Blues in Boston. Pretty much, your home turf there. You must have had a, huge crowd there. Going into CES, another huge crowd, another huge backing and support for you. What was the difference in the crowds? Like House of Blues is huge, and then you have CES, which is probably the biggest boxer promotion in New England and maybe the East Coast. How are the different venues, and what was the difference in how you were feeling in the ring?
So with House of Blues, I definitely felt more at home. It's about, I don't know, 15 minutes from where I grew up, the house I grew up in. So it was a little bit easier to get people out there. Going to Twin River Casino, a little bit tougher to get people out there. Luckily, I have a really great support system. So a lot of people did make the trip out, as well as, they'll do the same for this fight. I really appreciate it. My hope and my goal is to get into Encore as soon as possible. That, of course, Everett is my hometown, so that I know would be a huge turnout. That would be the best case scenario. So that's definitely on my horizon, and I'm looking forward to that.
Excellent. Well, I see a lot of fans on social media asking you when you're going to be back, fighting there. So you're going to have a huge homecoming there and, another huge event leading after this one. Now, Shayna, third fight going in. You haven't been very active, but this past year, coming off that fight back in 2018, you had a lot of stuff in your personal life positive as far as getting married and stuff like that. So was that, the main reason why it's been a year since you getting back in the ring, being married and taking care of all of your personal stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. My husband and I decided to get married over in England. That is where he's from. So
Oh,
that required a lot of planning. We were traveling a lot back and forth, and it just took a lot of effort. I knew this day only came once in my entire life, and I wanted to make sure it was really special and really perfect and enjoy every single moment. So I did take a little bit of time off for myself, though after our honeymoon, we came back in July, and I came full force, hit it hard. So I've been training really hard since July in anticipation for, these hopefully back-to-back fights coming up next, at the end of this year, leading into 2020.
excellent. Is your husband into boxing? Does he box, or is he have anything to do with the sport or combat sports?
He doesn't box. He no, he doesn't box at all. But he is very interested in boxing.
Okay.
He's very supportive of my career going forward. He is honestly the best support system. He's the one who helps me diet and cut weight, as well as make sure that I'm on track with all my paperwork and all the kind of like the stressful things that come along the way right before a fight. So he's absolutely so supportive, and I appreciate him very much for that. And he can't wait to see what comes next.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, what comes next is November 23rd. As far as, getting married and all that, are we ready? Like, we're ready to get active and stay active and start fighting regularly, correct? After this?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Excellent.
I'm ready to go full force, full in. My team, my coach, we are ready to go as far as this can take me.
Excellent.
Starting November 23rd.
Nice. Well, what a place to start. The last card of the year for CES Boxing. A huge card. Huge card. Gary Belletto making his pro boxing debut. Nick DeLumba back. Peter Manfredo Jr. back in that card. Bling bling. A lot of young stars among yourself on that card. How special does that feel to, not only be back for CES, but fight on a card with some of the legends and some of the future legends of CEX boxing?
I feel very honored to be invited onto this card. A lot of those fighters have done a lot of really great things. They're extremely inspiring to me, and I can't wait to be fighting alongside of them, representing CES that night.
Especially, a female in this game. There's going to be a lot of spotlight on you, especially, there's a lot of eyes on you now because, let's face it, you're very beautiful, and, people, they put that boxing and beauty, they kind of like can't put it together, but you're doing it. So people are following you not only for your boxing, but seeing you, thrive as a beautiful woman that can thrive in professional boxing. So it's a big event, not only, for CES, but for you as a woman, and to show, the rest of the women out there that you can do it. Do you carry like some of that responsibility on you to show women that you and they can thrive in the sport?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually work. I don't know if you know this much about me, but I work as a teacher in a school, as well as I'm a nanny to a 8-year-old little girl, and we will do boxing and we'll hit the mitts and things like that. And she just, the way she like gets excited and looks up to me, it means so much to me. I really want girls to realize that like it's okay, like you can do this. You can put on makeup and go out on the weekend, and then you can kick some ass in the gym during the week. Like it's okay, you can do both. And it doesn't matter. Like you just do what makes you happy.
And what I see with a lot of women nowadays compared to in the past, women in the combat sport, boxing or MMA, they were afraid to show the beauty side of them because some may feel like the guard goes down and they won't seem as tough or, as a fighter. But now women in sports are showing the beauty side of them, and it's helping. It's giving them more support because they're doing it not only, in the ring and all sorts of combat sports out there. So you women are really come a long way, and you're really, really, really thriving. And, people like you as role models, especially teaching the younger generation, is really going to go far and help the sport and women in general get there. So as far as this fight itself, Shayna, you're taking on a woman making her pro boxing debut, but she's not, she's familiar with the ring. She's a Muay Thai fighter, so her stand-up game is there. What are you feeling about this matchup? And, you're used to sparring with full-time boxers in there. What is it like facing someone that's not, 24/7 boxing and has that other kind of background there?
So to be honest with you, Steve, this time I'm kind of going into the fight with confidence in my game. I don't know a whole lot about this woman that I'm fighting. I know that she has a Muay Thai background. Based on that, I'm aware that, she'll have probably a Muay Thai stance. That's what she's comfortable with. But I also know that there's no kicking in my ring. So that's going to be tough for her to take away. But I have a lot of confidence in my game, Steven, and no matter what she comes at me with, I know that I'm going to be ready for her no matter who she is.
Excellent. Now it's you had that last fight in September, got married. When did you get back to training, and when did you actually put the throttle down? And actually, 24/7, we're getting ready for a fight, and we're gonna look for a matchup.
Yeah, so I started right when we got back in July from our honeymoon, and we just kicked it up, started polishing things, working on things. I had to, get back into shape, get my conditioning back up, and that's when I could really start to learn again and slow things down. And once I slowed things down, we finally, we set a fight date. I think we got the fight date about 7 or 6 weeks before, obviously, November 23rd. And that's really when we started cranking things up. We added in sparring. We started adding in all these different components and just polishing things and watching film and making sure that I'm correcting all of these mistakes that, I had made in the previous fight.
Excellent. Well, you're always learning new things from the last fight, training camps. Is there
Absolutely.
anyone new in this training camp? Anyone new helping you? And where are you training out of to get ready for this fight?
Yeah, so I actually incorporated strength training into this fight camp. Normally, I did have a little bit of strength training in the past, but this time I started going to a gym called Flight Performance in Sports. That's in Newton, Massachusetts. And I had a couple guys over there, Dylan and Jared. They were helping me out. They, set me up with a plan, week by week, we increased the weight, decreased the weight, worked on obviously my strength, but also my stamina, being strong, being fast, keeping that with weight cut. So they've been so helpful. I really appreciate going there, and I feel, honestly, Steve, I feel better than ever incorporating all of that strength training. It brought me up another level that I didn't know I had in me. So that's been really great. I still train at Greater Boston Fitness, but with sparring, we travel around to many different gyms like Nonantum, which is in Newton as well, or Tomasello's, which is in Saugus. So we've been kind of moving around there, but my main gym is Greater Boston Fitness in Revere.
Excellent, excellent. Well, you're evolving the game, and being a young pro, you're going to learn these things, and get more tools to your game with these new camps, and traveling around New England, because as you know, New England is it's a hub of boxing and
Oh, yeah.
cross training, and you can get work everywhere.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, so last thing I want to ask you before I let you get shout outs and last words is, what are we expecting from you in this ring on the 23rd? I mean, your first fight was a knockout. Your last fight was a great competitive, very entertaining match against a very skilled fighter in there, a very skilled veteran fighter in there. What are we expecting from Shayna with a year off and with the confidence under her, and ready to go and really put the throttle down on her boxing career?
So the changes that I plan on making for this fight, I'm making sure I stay focused. I'm keeping my strength. I'm planning on coming forward a lot more, and just utilizing my jab, just making sure that I stay grounded, stay underneath my feet, not reaching. I'm just polishing everything up and mainly staying focused, only listening to my coach, and hoping for a big win.
Excellent, excellent. Goals for 2020. What is your goal for 2020 besides fighting? Back home. How busy you want to stay in 2020?
I mean, to be honest, I at least want to get to like 3 fights, 4 fights a year if possible. I want to really crank down. I have no limitations, nothing holding me back at this point. My main goal and my main focus is on boxing and, getting some wins in and just working as hard as I possibly can to excel in this game. So, 3, 4 fights each year would be ideal. So that's what we're hoping for. And, CES can bring me there.
Excellent. Well, Shayna, glad to have you back. Watching your last fight was very entertaining. And just watching you, that your technique, and I mean, you look like you just flow, and my God, it looks like you are the future of women's boxing there. So, last thing, Shayna, shout outs, how we get in touch with you. You got tickets to sell. We still got about 10 days out from this fight, so I'll shout it out.
All right, yeah, thank you. So I definitely want to shout out my team, my coach, Joe Lake, of course, my teammates, Danielle, we got Dominic, DJ, Doug, the works, everyone. And then we have Bob Judge, of course. And then, of course, Flight Performance, Built Boxing, CES, and ANC has been great with supplements and nutrition. Thank you guys so much. And everyone else to support me, my family, my sister, my mom, my dad, and all my friends. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for being there for me. Awesome. And thank you for everyone that's planning on coming out. Like, it really does mean a lot to me that you can make the trip out.
Yeah, it's a big to deal on the 23rd, and you're going to have a lot of eyes on you. So, I wish you well, and we'll be watching, and we'll be, checking in with you on the other side, and, we'll love to see you back home, fighting in front of your fans and all your family back, come 2020. So thank you so much, Shayna, and good luck on the 23rd.
Thank you, Steve. And if anyone needs tickets, I do have them. You can call 617-870-1627, or you can call 617-899-9577. You can call or text those numbers, and we'll get tickets to you as soon as possible.
Awesome. Social media, I know you don't do much Facebook, but you do have Instagram and stuff, right?
Yes, I'm more on Instagram, so please find me on Instagram. I'm under Shayna Foppiano, so you can find me over there.
There you go. Shayna Hollywood Foppiano fighting November 23rd. CES Boxing, her third pro trip to the ring. And she's back. 2020 is going to be her year, and a busy year for this young lady. So thanks so much again, Shayna.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it.